very necessary for synthesis of carbohydrates as it is a constituent of chlorophyll. Then it assists in the transportation of phosphates, which is an essential material to developing fruit seeds. Magnesium enhances plant growth. Then it is required for normal cell division. Magnesium is also necessary for synthesis of oils in plants. What are the deficiency symptoms of magnesium? Number 1, you observe chlorosis along the leaf veins. That is, there is a yellowishness of the leaves, then it's dying along the veins. Then another thing is that the plant has a stunted growth, then there is premature leaf falls. Leaves don't mature. They don't get to the normal age or the normal time they stay on leaf before they fall off. Now, sulfur. Sulfur is a constituent of plant protein since it occurs in some amino acids such as cysteine and methionine. So it's an essential constituent of plant protein. Then it's a constituent of plant hormone also, such as biotin and thiamine. Sulfur is essential for chlorophyll formation. Then it is required for carbohydrate metabolism and nitrogen fixation by legumes. The deficiency symptoms of sulfur include yellowing of leaves, then stunted growth, then poor rate of photosynthesis. Another element we're talking about is iron. Functions of iron. It is necessary for chlorophyll formation. It is necessary for protein synthesis that is contained in chloroplast. It is important for enzyme system. Important in enzyme system associated with oxidation and reduction reactions. The deficiency symptom of iron is that there will be a chlorotic condition in the leaf, that is, the leaves become yellowish and they are dying off. Then they become pale green. Then the next element is manganese. Manganese is a constituent of enzymes which are responsible for protein synthesis, and they are also important for certain nitrogen transformation in plants and microorganisms. The deficiency symptoms of manganese is that young leaves show pale greenish yellow discoloration between the veins. Copper. Copper is a constituent of certain enzymes. It is necessary for photosynthesis. It is involved in respiration and utilization of iron. Deficiency symptoms include pale green color of leaves, then the tip of the older leaves dry off and die. Then young leaf tips die back. Zinc. Zinc is involved in the action of certain enzymes, and deficiency symptom is that there will be production of molted or extremely small leaves. The leaves of a plant that lacks zinc will be very small. Then boron. Boron is an important nutrient in protein synthesis. It facilitates the development of roots. It assists in the formation of fruits and seeds. Then it encourages the division of cells in the growing regions of plants. It also increases the yield. Then it facilitates nodulation in leguminous plant, that is the production of nodules. In leguminous plants you have root nodules, so it facilitates the production of such nodules. The deficiency symptoms of boron include that it causes the death of tips of roots and shoots. Then the flower bud will fail to develop in a plant that lacks boron. Then it causes poor growth of plants. It causes breaking or lodging too. Then it decreases the rates of water absorption and translocation of sugar. The last element I'll be talking about is molybdenum. It aids nitrogen fixation acid and protein. Then it is an essential part of the enzymatic system involved in facilitating nitrogen change. Then it breaks down leaf edges. The deficiency symptoms of molybdenum include: 1. It promotes metabolism of nitrates into amino acid and protein. It causes molted leaves. The leaves begin to molt, they begin to fold. Then it leads to culling of the leaves. Then it causes premature flower drops. Now we move on to talk about the factors that influence nutrient availability in the soil. What factors are responsible for the presence of nutrients in the soil? First, soil pH, concentration of other nutrients. I'll be explaining them later. Leaching, crop removal, oxidation and reduction of organic material, burning, soil texture, erosion, soil moisture content, and level of organic matter or microorganisms in the soil. So first, the soil pH. Soil pH is the alkalinity or acidity of a soil. That is, the amount of acid or base or alkaline that is present in the soil is the pH, the hydrogen ion concentration of the soil. That is what the soil pH is. When the soil pH is low, that means the soil is acidic. You know, on the pH meter, which is calibrated 1 to 14, 7 is the neutral point. So 1 to 6, we say it is acidic. Then 8 to 14 is basic. So when the pH is low, that is, it is between 1 to 6, it means the soil is acidic. It encourages the disintegration of clay minerals like calcium, iron, and aluminium, which are leached away from the soil. Can you see that? So low pH takes away calcium, iron, and aluminium from the soil. Leaching, these elements, it's not as if they are washed away, but they go into the deeper part of the soil where the soil roots cannot get them. That is what leaching is about. Then low pH also reduces the activities of soil-living organisms. You know, when the soil is acidic, quite a number of organisms will not be able to survive that acidic nature. So it will reduce the activities of soil organisms, and they are the ones that aid or bring about the composition of organic matter. So you have low organic matter in soils with low pH value. Then as high pH value, that is high alkalinity, that is the soil is now basic now, calcium and magnesium ion accumulate in the soil, which affects the growth of the plants. You know, too much of everything is not good. As much as we say some macro elements that are needed in large quantity, there is a limit to the quantity that the soil can adapt with. And as much as low as they are saying microelements are, if they are not present, then you have seen the deficiency symptoms, as I mentioned it earlier. So there must be a balance in whatever you do as a farmer with your soil. Then another factor that affects or influences nutrient availability in the soil is concentration of other nutrients. Presence of certain elements in high concentration may prevent the absorption or utilization of other elements, like overshadowing or competition. When there is a particular element that is just the one that is so much in the soil, it will affect the presence of other elements because it is too much. It will be taking the space of others, and it will definitely affect your plant in the long run. If the concentration of nitrogen and phosphorus in the soil will result in non-availability of potassium. Can you imagine that? And all of them are needed. So you have to make sure there is a balance of nutrients in your soil. Then this concentration of other nutrients over others results in retarded growth, results in low yield, and even death of plants. So the next factor is crop removal. You know, when you plant your crops, the crops take the nutrients. You have your soil now is balanced with all the necessary elements that you need. But lo and behold, your plants are taking up that nutrient for their own growth. And when you harvest such plants, the nutrients have gone with the plants. So that is what crop removal is all about. By the time you harvest your plants, the plants have taken the nutrients. By the time you harvest it, you've taken the nutrients away. So that is a way crops get them, nutrients get away from the soil, and they are never returned except you use another method. But by that method, that okay, maybe after the plants are terminated, they will return your nutrients. No. Then the next factor influencing nutrient availability is oxidation and reduction of organic mineral or organic materials. Some compounds such as ammonium radicals are oxidized into gaseous ammonia. The nitrates are also reduced to molecular nitrogen or oxides of nitrogen by denitrifying bacteria. These ammonium radicals and nitrates, which escape into the atmosphere in the form of gases, they make the soil become poorer in nutrients. By the reason of oxidation and reduction of these elements I mentioned earlier, the soil has lost such elements and your soil is poor. Now, another factor that affects availability of nutrients is burning. Burning exposes your soil to erosion. You have exposed it. That act of applying fire has exposed your soil to erosion, which can wash away plant nutrients in the soil. Then, burning the organic matter in the soil also can be burnt off. Thereby, you reduce the amount of nutrients in your soil. Then, burning also will kill and reduce the number of soil microorganisms. The soil microorganisms are responsible for the composition of materials in the soil. By the time you apply fire, a lot of them will be killed. So, you have reduced the rate of decomposition in your farm. Then, the next factor that affects nutrient availability is erosion. Erosion is the washing away of the topsoil. So every rainfall can cause erosion, because when the rainfall is so much, the water don't go down to the soil away. They are just washing away the nutrients on the topsoil. So you've lost nutrients like that. Then wind also. Rainfall is an agent of erosion. Wind is another agent. When wind blows and blows off the top surface, that will also